Hey guys, DB Rye here, and today I am continuing with the Smallville What If I started. What if Clark told Lex his secret? And to continue where we left off, which is right at the end of Season 3, which had a very similar ending than how it did in Season 3, with Clark being imprisoned by his dead Kryptonian father, Jonathan attempting to stop it, ending up in a coma, and the difference is that Lex was there as well, now on Clark Kent's side fully. No more investigations, none of that, because after all, Clark has revealed all the truth to Lex ever since that in this story he managed to get to Lex in time before his father had him lobotomized, which ultimately resulted in Lana Luthor being imprisoned earlier in the story. And because Clark and Lex didn't have to get Chloe Sullivan involved, she was spared her safe house from being blown up, because she wasn't involved. Now, time to continue the story. Now, with Clark now finally being released from his imprisoned father 2 months later, you may be wondering, is Lex still looking for the free Kryptonian artifacts? Well, the answer is actually no. He's actually been more or less focused on keeping himself alive after being poisoned from his father, and trying to figure out a way to get Clark back. So, with Clark, who is still picked up in the cornfield by Lois Lane, and eventually he's reunited with Martha. However, he claims to not be Clark Kent anymore, only Kal-El. And as soon as he's hearing the beacon from one of the artifacts, he goes straight for the location, and with one nasty punch to the ground, causing a crater, he's able to recover that stone easily. This would have been the same stone that Lex picked up in the first episode of Season 4 in the original that Kal-El steals from under him when he pretty much wrecks his plane. But because Lex isn't hunting for the stones, at least at this point in Season 4, Kal-El was able to get it no problem. No obstacle in his path at all. And well, things seem to be going Kal-El's way until Martha restores Clark to normal by using the black kryptonite, separating the Kryptonian side from the human. And well, this leads to another problem, because while Lex has sort of been mobile on the move and recovering from his father, as well as trying to rack his brains about how to get his friend back, Lionel has sent the metahuman assassin after him instead of Chloe. You know, the one that can turn his arms into sharp objects in a similar fashion the way T-1000 does in Terminator 2. Yeah, that guy. So, with that more or less going on, and well, let's just say it's lucky that Clark is able to get there to save his friend and deal with the metahuman, and Lex is of course saved and just glad that his friend's okay, and that Clark then eventually fills Lex in, and they both decide to investigate the stones together. And the good thing is, this is actually good when you consider, you know, the troubles like what Barry Allen or Bart Allen causes in later on when he makes his appearance. With Clark there, they're easily able to stop him from running off with the map to the next stone, and because Clark and Lex aren't hiding information from each other, they're able to keep tabs on Lana with her Kryptonian tattoo, and whenever the witch has appeared, they're pretty much able to get her under control, no problem. Except maybe that first episode, which pretty much goes the same as it does in the original, with Lex Who can forget Lex endlessly and endlessly playing the piano? Come on, we gotta have that the same. So yes, this does mean that as far as Lana Lang's story is, the same things happened to her that happened to her in the original. In Paris, meeting Edward Teague and forming a relationship with him, which pretty much all of that stuff with Edward Teague remains mostly the same, including Clark going for the football team, not only being convinced by Edward Teague, but also convinced by, by Lex himself. And, Jonathan and Lex do more see each other eye to eye in this timeline because, well, Lex has proven that he is nothing like his father. Lex has chosen a different path for himself, which, at least at this point, is pretty good. Is there a chance he could revert back? I don't know, we'll have to see how the rest of this drama plays out. And so, a lot of the other things from Season 4 remain the same, including Alicia Baker's return. You know, the teleporting metahuman who had an obsession with Clark. So yep, she's back. They were dating for a bit until she ended up dying, protecting his secret. And, Lex can more or less understand Clark's feelings in that matter, especially with having to deal with similar hardships himself, some of which come to the surface now as the whole Lionel and Clark Kent's body switching thing happens exactly the same, which essentially flushes out all the evil in Lionel, at least for the time that it does. And so Lionel was actually able to help Clark with that whole dilemma. You know, the woman who tries to murder Lex, tries to, I believe, burn him in a fire, I believe it is, that time. Well, thanks to that, Clark's able to save him from that. But now, this is where things begin to differ again in the story, as we get to the episode where Lex is doing an experiment, and something to do with heating up kryptonite, to the point that it becomes black kryptonite, and it separates Lex Luthor's good side from whatever evil he still has left in him. So we've got the evil Lex running around, and just like in the original, he manages to kill the scientist who was with him, as well as captures his good half and keeps him hidden away, while he lures Clark and Chloe Sullivan into a trap. Now, this isn't the same trap that we get in the original, because remember, Lex already knows Clark's secret. He already knows everything about that. So, he already knows that collapsing a roof on him or anything like that is not going to work. However, when he claims to show him this project, he causes a shortage in all the equipment and this electrical malfunction on purpose, remembering what Clark told him about the boy who took his powers by using kryptonite and an electrical storm. So he uses this fluctuation to take Clark's powers for himself. Now I can make the world the way I want it. And he pretty much leaves Chloe and Clark knocked out in a building that's pretty much about to collapse in on itself, and pretty much it's by sheer luck that Clark wakes up when he does, and they just manage to get out, saving themselves. But you've got a super-powered evil Lex with the powers of Kryptonian running around. And with the bit of a meteorite rock that he used now proving useless, pretty much Clark and Chloe need to sort of figure out how to get on top of this. Now, Chloe at this point is aware of Clark's identity because I told you we had the return of Alicia Baker as well as her death. As we know, Alicia Baker reveals to Chloe Clark's secret by making her witness what Clark is capable of. So, while she's playing dumb in pretending not to know his secret, but also dropping hints to Clark that she knows his secret, she's pretty much investigating that and figures out that there are two Lex Luthors, because both of them were in the hospital at the same time. The evil Lex came to kill the scientist that witnessed everything, that created them, while the other Lex was just being discharged from hospital, as I'm not mistaken, as he was showing Chloe and Clark his project earlier on, before he was captured. When Lex lured him back the second time, he claimed to have that when the evil Lex lured him back there, he claimed to Clark he had some sort of breakthrough he was going to share with him. So that's how that sort of played out, if I wasn't cleared with that. So, with that, this pretty much leads to Clark going to his house to pick up the piece of kryptonite that Jonathan always keeps just in case, and in its lead casing. And so, pretty much with that, Clark has showed up at Luthor Manor to more or less oppose evil Lex and get his powers back, and of course questioning him on what he's done with the real one. And well, this does sort of blows up in Clark's face when Lex makes him reveal the kryptonite. You know, he's not stupid. He's not stupid. He knows pretty much what Clark knows at this point, and he knows he wouldn't show up without kryptonite in order to try steal his powers back. And this leads into a bit of a fight struggle between Clark and Lex, who's pretty much dominating him at the moment. Meanwhile, Chloe Sullivan has managed to sneak her way into the manor and manages to find good Lex and frees him from his prison. And well, when Lex and Clark battle each other to the point, evil Lex and Clark battle each other to the point that they're pretty much where the source of wherever Luthor Manor would hide their power box. Evil Lex is about to finish Clark off when suddenly he ends up on his knees, courtesy of Lex, with a bit of a special piece of kryptonite that he has hidden away himself. As we know, he does have stores of it. In this case, it is the kryptonite ring. And well, he hands it to Clark, who grabs it, slams evil Lex into the power box, causing the voltage to go off. They both get electrocuted, and the power transference is restored to Clark. And